We are less than 2 weeks away from one of the marquee events on the New Jersey baseball calendar, the Garden State Baseball Coaches Clinic, brought to you by by Gamers Baseball and by the NJ High School Baseball Coaches Association. We're here to talk about it. December 5th and 6th, new location, Hilton Garden Inn at Springfield, New Jersey. We've got Mike Rooney, the voice of college baseball with ESPN, D1Baseball.com. Does it all from podcasting to the studio to announcing. And we got Chris Roof, the one of the top coaches in the state of New Jersey, vice president of the New Jersey High School Baseball Coaches Association. This is kind of his baby. This is year 4 of the clinic. We'll talk to both of them and get an idea of what is going on this year, starting Thursday night next week, December 5th. It's not just college basketball season, it's hot stove baseball season. And thank you guys for stopping on to talk a bit.
Oh, this is my first opportunity to publicly congratulate Coach Roof, Governor of Livingston, 2024 Group 2 state champs. Go Highlanders. Let's go, Coach Roof.
Thanks, Runes. I really appreciate that, buddy, man. And Mike, thank you for having me. And like I said, Runes, thanks again so much for coming on with us.
And Coach Roof knows we've already put the pressure on him for 2025, but that's it's a topic for another show. We'll save that for later. But Mike, we'll start with you because there's really kind of a just an amazing list of clinicians, of speakers, and we'll talk to Coach Roof about how we put it all together. But why don't you talk a little bit about some of the great coaches topics that we have starting Thursday night. So it's 2 nights of or 2 days worth, Thursday night starting at 6 p.m. and then Friday morning, the 6th, starting bright and early, 9 a.m. So what do we have in store?
Yeah, so I will say there's 2 things that this is my second year in a row coming to the clinic. And, first of all, because I believe the tri-state area is the center of the universe, even though I live on the West Coast and have for 2 decades now, I have tons of family in suburban Philly and Jersey, and so it's so exciting. I love this part of the world, and like what Coach Roof has put together for I don't even know what these guys are talking about except for one of them, but I just like these guys could talk about fantasy football and I'd want to listen. I'll run through the list, but like Butch Chaffin, like he's synonymous with USA Baseball. If you're listening to us, when you're done with us, you need to Google Coach Chaffin and like some of his motivational talks to the kids who are creme de la creme with USA Baseball, like, hey, how to stand for the national anthem. Like, this dude is amazing. So I can't wait to I've never met him or like spent extended time with him. So I'm fired up for that. Kevin McMullen at UVA, what him and Brian O'Connor and that coaching staff have done at Virginia. It's one of the top 5 programs in the country. They've got a national championship. They're on a heater right now. Omaha 3 of the last 4 years. So, Mac is one of the most relentless recruiters. I love the way he runs offense. Adam Mosley, I have had the chance to spend time with. Hoover High. To say that's big time high school athletics would be the understatement of the century. And, he's obviously got big Team USA baseball pedigree, and just like the most humble, awesome guy you're going to come across. Jeremy Sheets, I can't even say his last name because it's just Sheets. Like Sheets is no one has connected more baseball coaches in the history of our sport than Sheets. And now, he's coached in the SEC, has won a national title at Georgia Gwinnett College, and he's coached in the Cape. I mean, he's just a magical person. Steve Trimper's a Jersey guy through and through. Stetson went to the NCAA tournament last year. Being around Coach Trimper's awesome. And then Tom Griffin, I didn't realize he was a Jersey guy. He's done a great job at Carson Newman, but he's a catching guy. And I think for any of us, especially a dinosaur like me, you can't get enough catching instruction right now because that position is so controversial and so polarizing. So I'm really fired up to listen in on his talk because I just think if you're coaching nowadays, coaching your catchers it's never been trickier. And the more information you get, the better.
And Chris, we're at a new location this year, so we'll talk about that. Help everybody who wants to get to the clinic to sign up properly. Hilton Garden Inn in Springfield for the 2 days. Why don't you tell us? This is year 4, and obviously it's been something that as soon as last year's clinic ended, you're right into getting this year's together. Tell us the kind of the backstory with how this started in 2021 and now has grown to a 2-day extravaganza, and so many so many out of state guys with national reputations, and I know some of them have the Jersey background, but not all do. So how do you get these speakers to come here, and what New Jersey bribes do we have to give these guys to?
That's a great question, Mike. First of all, this was a vision of mine. Like I said, about 4 years ago, when, like I said, I'm getting old too. It's my 25th year as a head coach, and I just turned 51 yesterday, believe it or not. And growing up, I've always went to like the Cherry Hill Clinic. I went to Mohegan Sun a couple times, ABCA, which is obviously the monster, clinic, in the country. And I really, talking to colleagues of mine, and so we really missed the Cherry Hill Clinic. So I said to myself, why not try to, listen, we're not going to be the Cherry Hill Clinic just because that was just an unbelievable product that they had. So we're going to try and make something as close as possible. So I talked to 2 of the owners at Gamers Academy, Hassani Whitfield and John Lewis, and they totally were behind me 100%, said, Coach, whatever you want to do. At that point, we went around, we decided to do just a Friday type thing. And, we had X amount of people in year 1. We did the same thing year 2. Again, just a Friday at their facility, and it grew and got real big. And we're like, And I've always envisioned hopefully doing it in a hotel type setting, like with ballrooms and stuff like that. And we said, hey, year 3, we're going to do this. And now the New Jersey High School Baseball Coaches Association started, and we were building membership, and collectively together with Gamers Academy and the New Jersey High School Baseball Coaches Association, we decided, hey, let's go for it. And we did it in a hotel in New Brunswick, which again, it was a great place. But like I said, in anything you do in life, you always, take your notes. What can we do better? What went well? And not that it was a bad place or location, but we decided to look around a little bit. And the Hilton Garden Inn in Springfield is just such a new, beautiful hotel. And we have 2 ballrooms this year. Like I said, it was very cost effective for us. The one ballroom was beautiful. They call it stadium seating, where it can hold a max of probably 200, coaches. And we have another ballroom right next to it. That's going to hold all our vendors. And right now we probably have about 15 vendors, which again, for a clinic like us, is pretty good. And, like I said, we ever fall into a problem where it is more, because I think we had about 150 coaches last year. If, like I said, we get to that magic number of 200, we could always open that up, or, like I said, and be able to adjust, the clinic at some point. But yeah, I mean, that's really been our vision in terms of getting coaches. People who really know me know that I'm not afraid to go up and talk to anybody or reach out to anybody in the country. And that's why people laugh at, who I know. And like I said, every year, through relationships, like you mentioned, Steve Tripper, who's New Jersey, at, one of our other clinics, I met Tommy Griffin, and I said, hey man, we got to get you at one of ours. And he was totally for it. And it didn't work out last year with his schedule, because I think he had a catch-a-con, I don't know what they call it, something like that, with all the top, catching coaches in the country. But this year he made sure it happened. And like I said, Mike Rooney is a legend. I mean, he's college baseball, and he's unbelievable at what he does, but he's even a better person. And I'm so blessed that I've met him. But that was literally a DM from the couch I'm sitting on right now, when I was trying to figure out, my vision of having a round table, which we had for the first time last year, and having him come speak. So not only did he do a nice presentation, but he also moderated our roundtable with all the coaches that we had Thursday night, which I thought so many people loved it. It was a home run. Big reason is because of Mike Rooney. But again, that's what I do. I mean, through networking and through friends of friends and stuff like that. And like, I never knew Bill Mosiello, but reached out to him. He was all on board. He was excited. Like we had Mike Gambino, who's now at Penn State. He was unbelievable. Carl Nonamaker, who, telling you how old I am, I actually coached him as an assistant coach. I was the assistant coach of Governor Livingston with my mentor, Bill Howard. And it was like an all-star game. And I want to say it was down in Princeton, I think, or not Mercer County Park, but down in Princeton. And Carl Nonamaker was playing, he just graduated Roxbury. So, and then he spoke last year as being one of the top assistants at Auburn, and he was a coach of the year 2 years ago, national assistant coach of the year, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Because Coach Mack, who's also speaking, was the national assistant coach of the year last season. So in a nutshell, I'm not afraid to reach out to anybody, and I try to get people that have ties to New Jersey. But again, I'm looking at trying to put together the best product as we possibly can.
Now, Runes, Chris gave you quite a bit of credit there for and deserve it for what you do for college baseball. But, in a sense, you've almost become like the John Madden or the Dick Vitale, where people know you now for announcing. You're still Coach Rooney, right? You started, right after the Notre Dame playing days, right at Malvern Prep, right across in Pennsylvania. Got to play a lot of the South Jersey non-public schools. Trope was coaching Bishop Eustace then too, so you got to coach against the legend Sam Tropiano, and then went off to coach in college too. So I want you to put your coach hat on for a second, not your college baseball voice of college reason hat, but your coach hat, and talk to the coaches that are watching this. And if you were still in that coach mode, what would you think of an event like this, and why does it get you excited?
Yeah, I mean, like it's so funny. Like I was the only coach at Malvern Prep ever to not beat Trope. Trope used to beat us like a drum. We actually played Millville back in the pre-Mike Trout days too. We didn't know what that was going to be. But that the Eustace tournament was always a highlight for us. But yeah, like as a when I was probably like Coach Roof. I just got lucky, and I was 25 years old when I became the head coach at Malvern Prep, and I was just. It's all I cared about. I taught math because that's what I had to do to coach baseball. No offense to math majors, but so I would drag my assistants to any clinic they would go to with me, and if it was drivable, we were going. Now Cherry Hill was like I would take 1 day off a year as a teacher at Malvern Prep. Back then there was no PTO. You'd beg for a day off, and I would go to Cherry Hill. And 1 year, I remember we went to Wing Bowl. For you Eagles fans out there, we went to the Wing Bowl in the morning, and then we went to the Cherry Hill Clinic, sober, I promise. But, it was some of the people we got to see there and meet there. I met, George Horton for the first time there when he was the head coach at Cal State Fullerton, and he had just coached Mark Kotze. And next thing you know, I'm on my way to Los Angeles to be a grad assistant at Cal State Fullerton. That's kind of how my college journey started. I never got there because on my way, Pat Murphy called, and there was a chance for me to go to Arizona State. So I aborted the mission and turned left, I guess. But, I'd say also to give you a real answer, there's two reasons why, if my brother was a coach, I would tell him, I'm not saying you should go to these things. You have to go to this clinic if you care about this profession. One is because you need the information. It's never been harder to coach high school baseball, college baseball. And if you don't have, you're going to pick a lane. You're going to decide what you want to teach, what your philosophy is. But if you don't know what else is out there, you have no credibility and platform for the players you're coaching, because they do have that information. It's not like it was 30 years ago when I started, where the only information they got was from me or maybe like a relative. Like they've got all the information. If they feel like you don't know, like you can pick your lane, you should. But if you don't know, have familiarity with all the information, how can you have credibility? So again, like I think about Tom Griffin with the catching, again, all those different types of things. The other thing also is, if you want to advance in this career, people don't hire the best candidates. They hire the candidate they're most comfortable with. So if you could be the best coach in the history of our sport. If you don't have a vibrant network of people, you're going to have a really tough time advancing in this profession. And if the only speaker you saw at this clinic coming up was Jeremy Sheetinger, your network just exploded by 1,000,000,000x, right? Like this dude knows every human in baseball. So like I would, I would be carrying Sheets' bags for him at this clinic. Like I would be buying his coffee, buying his Coca-Cola, you name it. So I'm such a believer in that. Also, I'm not a young person like I was anymore. And I've seen these searches a million times, and coaches want to hire people that they're comfortable with, who are connected to people they trust. And these events, it's really hard to build your network on the field. These events are where you build the network.
So it's not the 6 degrees of Jeremy Sheetinger. It's the 1 degree pretty much. We don't have to go that far, right? He knows everybody. So
literally knows everyone.
Yeah, we're gonna go off script a little bit, Coach Roof, only because I know you can handle it. We had some topics. We're gonna diverge from that a little bit, but I think it's an important thing here, and it's just to spend a couple minutes to talk about the association, the High School Baseball Coaches Association, why it's important to you. It has the growth that it's had, and the growth that is still to come with events like this, and obviously, with a president like Pat Laguerre, the amazing coach at St. Peter's Prep, is in great hands. But what can we do to move it forward, and how can this event help?
Again, just getting word out, getting more coaches involved, getting coaching staffs. We're going into this year now. We new calendar year. We have a price point deal, whatever you want to call it, for not only the head coach but for the whole staff, just to try to get more coaches involved. I'm proud of this. I know that everyone that I'm on the executive committee with are very proud of it. We put a lot of time into this. You mentioned Sam Tropiano. I've heard of him, but now I'm friends with him, and he is an unbelievable human being. I love the guy to death, and I'm so happy for his success. And I see why he's successful. You get a chance to meet people from all over the state, and we're trying to really branch out and get everyone in the state. We're very much North Jersey, Central Jersey heavy. We would like to try to get more South Jersey and real South Jersey, near you, Olsh, probably more south down here to get more coaches. Again, it's just, it takes time. It takes time. The support for the clinics, like we try to do a lot of different things. It was funny. We found out a few years ago that just word of mouth that the NJSA was not going to do the senior all-star game anymore. We came together and we said, there's no way in heck, this is for a lot, maybe not everyone, but for a majority of the kids, this is a really important night for these senior athletes. And we saved it. Joe Source, who's the head coach at Belleville High School, who's on the executive committee, heads that all-star type thing, and he does an amazing job at that. My role, if you guess, is obviously doing clinics and getting college coaches to come on. One thing that we started, again, everything that I'm doing, I guess what all coaches do is we steal from one another. During COVID, and Runes has said, like Sheets knows everyone. Sheets was COVID. If there was anything that came out of COVID that was positive, was baseball, online and Zooms and this and that and networking and meeting new people. Like I couldn't wait, every week to see who's going to be on. Like I said, Runes does an unbelievable job on Sunday nights, and I can't wait every Sunday night to watch what he brings to the table. But, again, like it's just, that is what we try to do. So what I decided to set up, and again, with the support of the committee, is I get a speaker the second Tuesday every night. Last night we had Monty Lee, who's the associate head coach and hitting coach at Clemson, at South Carolina. He's the former head coach at Clemson. Great guy. I had his number. I reached out, talking. He said, of course he's going to come on and talk to us. We didn't know that our Zoom account only could take 100, players, because we did have some high school kids come on too. I know my program, and there was a bunch of kids trying to get on and listen to Coach Lee. And honestly, I would say there was probably at least 100 to 150 people that could not get on because every single coach was getting a text, I can't get on, I can't get on. And, if you saw it go like to 99, you would text real quick, hey, yeah, try to get on. But, that is what we've tried to do. And our mission and our job, just like Rune's and you, Mike, is like we're trying to help today's youth. Not to sound corny, but it's the truth. We're here to help. So if a kid from Jefferson High School or a kid from Millville High School want to jump on, have an opportunity and want to jump on a Zoom and listen to Monty Lee talk about him because they're going to take some notes and they're going to go work at it themselves and get better. Like that's what it's all about. Same thing with the coaches. If you really, really listen, we all know we joke around. We're not college coaches where this is our job. Okay. Most of us are teachers. But the guy, and I preach it to the choir, the guys that really care and you really see the difference in the programs, they always, oh, well, he has talent. That's not true. Yeah, you do have talent. But if you have a coach and a coaching staff that cares about the kids and really knows how to run a program and do all the right things and set it up for their kids, you're going to be successful, man. Now, when you have talent, that's scary. That's what I believe in. But that's our job, is to help the kids, okay, and to help the coaches. That's what it's all about.
Now, Runes, you've got the national perspective here in your role and your career and where it's gone. To see New Jersey's close enough to call home for you, and you still got the connection down the shore. But to see New Jersey baseball putting on these sort of events, it's not something that you see everywhere, is it?
No, I mean, like, and to Coach Roof's point, like the Cherry Hill Clinic was kind of like the OG of this type of stuff, right? Like and so, but I think this makes a ton of sense because New Jersey is such a great baseball state. It's got such rich history in baseball. And it is kind of like Coach Roof described, like it is kind of like three, at least for me, a Philadelphian, like you always thought of it as North Jersey, Central Jersey, South Jersey, like, and they're all unique in their own way. But that's what makes the state, the state produces so many great players because there's a lot of population and it's a state that really loves the sport. So I think this is awesome. I think if you're a high school coach in New Jersey, you've got cachet because this state is so, like we were talking about this before we hit record, Adre Gracia at Duke and Chris Maldonado, I saw Vandy this fall, Cam Leiter, Andrew Fisher was, one of the top 5 gets nationally in the transfer portal this year. Pierce Capolo at Florida is, now healthy and in their rotation. Like New Jersey, and this is not even including the kids that get drafted and signed, don't even get to college baseball. Like there are real players in New Jersey. Rutgers, I mean, think about the college programs in the state. Ryder, think about NGIT and my man Robbie McClellan. So it's I think this is awesome for a lot of reasons. But the state of New Jersey has got, gosh, how I talk about New Jersey baseball and not mention Brooklawn American Legion? Talk about they're racking up popping national titles in American Legion ball like they were Tic Tacs. But yeah, it's awesome because it starts because it's a great baseball state.
Chris, online, they go to the Gamers site online, I guess.
Yeah,
But
the Gamers site. Yep. And honestly, people can reach out to me. I mean, you can reach out to me on Twitter, whatever you want to call it,
yep.
Even Instagram. Just send me a message, and I can tell you how to pay online with a credit card. I can tell you if you want to write a check out, and I can tell you who you need to talk to receive an invoice for your high school or for your school. And that's the other thing I think we left out, Mike, was that for any teachers out there, if you want to, you're going to get professional development, even if you just go Thursday with a certificate. But like you said, depending on your, school district, you might be able to get a free day, a professional day on Friday. Like I said, what's better than going and trying to learn some more baseball and networking with some people and hanging out with your friends?
And the options are for Thursday, Friday, or both, right?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, and there's a deal if you have 3 or more coaches from your program.
Yep. So amazing 2 days. Incredible job, Chris, as always. Another state title, and we were saying that you might have to be a clinician as well. But certainly, like I said, that's more for the preview for the spring. But for now, Just an amazing job. We look forward to seeing you guys there December 5th and 6th at the Hilton Garden Inn in Springfield. Make sure you get there. Something that will do wonders again for baseball in the Garden State. And we look forward to seeing you. And guys, thanks for joining us for a few minutes here.
You got it.
Thank you. Anytime, Mike.
Really excited to come up on December 5th and 6th and speak at the Garden State Coaches Clinic.
Garden State Baseball Coaches Clinic, December 5th and 6th.
The Garden State Baseball Coaches Clinic on December 5th and 6th.
Garden State Baseball Coaches Clinic in Springfield, New Jersey.
The Garden State Baseball Coaches Clinic.
Garden State Baseball Coaches Clinic in December